Number 15. The Persian Code, where time stands still between empire and mythology. Do you believe in a place where just by touching a rock wall, you are touching 2,500 years of history? That is Iran, a land of unsolved Persian codes. Spanning nearly 656,000 square miles with over 80 million people, this country is like a massive stage where nature and history perform a play together. On the same map, you have peaks over 16,400 feet high covered in white snow, regions that have recorded the hottest surface temperatures on the planet, ancient forests that scientists call remnants of prehistory, and a vast inland sea slowly shrinking into salt fields. Hidden among them are cities once praised as half the world, domed bazaars where gold, spices, and hand-woven carpets are stacked high to the ceilings, and modern districts packed with apartment blocks where the middle class struggles to cope with inflation. And behind every wall is a young society that loves poetry, music, and technology, living in a country isolated from the world, yet connected through channels few outsiders can imagine. Why does the whole world talk about Persia, yet so few people actually step beyond the veil of mystery to understand how it truly works? The answer lies in the journey ahead, an exploration of the soul of an empire that has never truly faded. Number 14. QESHM and HORMUZ Island, fragments of the universe. Located in the Persian Gulf, the two islands of QESHM and HORMUZ possess a geology so surreal that science fiction film crews always crave them. At the Valley of the Stars, sedimentary rock formations eroded by wind and water for millions of years have created bizarre, sharp pillars, domes, and deep hollows. Chaku Canyon features sheer cliffs hollowed out in almost surreal curves. On the west side of the island is the Hara mangrove forest, a unique ecosystem where trees grow in saltwater, herons glide over the lagoons, and traditional wooden boats slip through at sunset. Not far away, HORMUZ Island is famous for its bright red beaches due to high iron oxide content. The ancient volcanic terrain gives the soil many shades: red, orange, purple, and yellow. What is special is that the red soil of HORMUZ, called gelak, is used by locals as a spice in several traditional dishes. The island's community has a mix of Persian and Arab roots. Women wear colorful niqabs, men work as fishermen, and life revolves around the sea. Number 13. The Lut Desert, the hottest purgatory on Earth. Across southeastern Iran stretches a land almost devoid of life, Dashti Lut. NASA once recorded a surface temperature of 159.3 degrees Fahrenheit, a terrifying heat sufficient to cook an egg right on the basalt ground without a fire. The extreme heat point, named Gandambarian, appears as a pitch-black plateau where lava rocks absorb the sun's heat and turn the surrounding space into a massive purgatory. In that dry, thick atmosphere, all organic life seems to surrender. But it is that very harshness that creates breathtakingly beautiful geological structures. Under the camera lens, the Lut Desert appears like a ruined alien city with massive calottes. These are earthen walls dozens of feet high, stretching for miles, carved by the wind over thousands of years into square, majestic shapes like abandoned castles. In this nearly sterile harshness, scientists still find extremophilic microorganisms quietly existing on white salt fields. Their existence opens shocking hypotheses about life on arid planets like Mars. The entire desert turns a brilliant orange gold, and when night falls, the sky becomes so clear that the Milky Way appears as real as if you could just reach out and touch the stars. Number 12. Nowruz, the festival of eternal rebirth. While most of the world celebrates the new year according to the solar calendar, Iranians look to the sky to wait for the moment of the vernal equinox. Nowruz is not just a holiday, it is a sacred cosmic ritual when day and night are of equal length. That moment marks the Earth's perfect balance in its journey around the sun. This tradition has pre-Islamic roots linked to ancient Zoroastrian beliefs and has existed for over 3,000 years. Before the new year, families perform the ritual of Khani Tikani, where every Persian rug is brought out to be washed clean, and every corner of the house is refreshed to shake off the dust and worries of the old year. This is how Iranians prepare a pure state of mind to receive the best things from the universe. The soul of the new year converges on the half-sin table, 7 items starting with the letter S in Persian, which are 7 prayers sent to the Creator: sabze, sprouts; samanu, sweet wheat pudding; seer, garlic; seeb, apple; sirka, vinegar. Each item symbolizes a wish: rebirth, health, beauty, patience, prosperity. Alongside these are usually a mirror, candles, goldfish, and books of Persian poetry. Nowruz lasts 13 days. On the final day, Sizdar Bedar, people go to parks, lawns, and mountains for picnics and release the sprouted greens back into nature as a way to complete the cycle of birth, growth, and rebirth. This festival has been recognized by UNESCO as an intangible cultural heritage and takes place not only in Iran, but also in Afghanistan, Tajikistan, and Persian communities around the world. Amid a region often described by international media through political tension, Nowruz shows a different Iran, an ancient civilization still operating according to the rhythm of the universe. Number 11. The nose, surgery capital, and the bandage of honor. Iran is considered one of the countries with the highest rate of rhinoplasty, nose surgery, per capita in the world. In the context of relatively conservative public dress codes, especially for women, the face becomes the most important space for expressing personality, and the nose, located right in the center, becomes the aesthetic highlight. Nose surgery in Tehran is not just a matter of beauty, it also carries a social element. The relatively high cost compared to average income makes undergoing the surgery a sign of financial capability. Interestingly, instead of hiding it, many people confidently appear in public with bandages after surgery. There are even cases of wearing fake bandages to create the impression that they have had the procedure. In that context, the bandage is not just a medical item. It becomes a symbol of modernization, of status, and of the power to control one's personal image in a society with many norms. And it is in these seemingly small details that another layer of the Persian code emerges. Iran is not just ancient history and harsh deserts. It is also a young, complex society that is defining itself day by day. Number 10. Hyrcanian forests. The 50-million-year-old ancient rainforest still existing in arid Iran. In the middle of a country labeled as a parched desert, there exists a moist ancient forest that has survived since the time of the dinosaurs, the Hyrcanian forest. Stretching along the southern shore of the Caspian Sea, this green carpet covers more than 21,000 square miles across the territory of Iran and Azerbaijan, with trees older than the Ice Age standing tall as living witnesses of prehistoric Earth. Stepping in here, you feel as if you have wandered off the current map and fallen straight into an ancient world that is still breathing. Overhead is a canopy of oak, beech, and ash trees, woven into a deep green dome, interspersed with plant species that exist only in this place. Amidst the dense foliage, migratory birds stop on their transcontinental journey, while in the high mountain regions, Persian leopards still quietly appear like proud ghosts of the old forest. Mist covers the ground, weaving through each tree trunk, making the entire forest look as if it is whispering stories from a past tens of millions of years old. In 2019, UNESCO recognized the Hyrcanian forests as a World Heritage Site, but compared to the rainforests of South America or Southeast Asia, this place remains a little-known secret. The trails here are often muddy, and the weather changes in an instant. But in return, the air is rich in oxygen, cool, moist, and pungent with the smell of wet leaves, making every breath feel different. And if you go deeper into those misty hills, you will encounter something even more mysterious. Before you is an ancient fortress, forgotten by time, now being slowly swallowed by the green forest, like a final secret that the Hyrcanian forest is intentionally hiding. Number 9. The Sanctuary of the Last Exotic Creatures on Earth. In the middle of Iran's sun-scorched wilderness, there is a land chosen as a sanctuary for exotic rare creatures that are disappearing from the world map. Most prominent is the Asiatic cheetah, the fastest land animal on the planet. With a body as slender as a lightning bolt and a sandy yellow coat dappled with black spots, every time it dashes, it seems to tear through the cracked dry earth, leaving only a trail of dust behind, flickering like a mirage in the desert. Once roaming across the Middle East and India, they now only have a tiny population left in the harsh wilderness of Iran. Their numbers are so few they can be counted on one's fingers, making every footprint in the sand and every shadow passing the lens as precious as a miracle. But Iran does not only have this rare king of speed. On the semi-desert regions, you can encounter the Iranian ground jay, an endemic bird species that lives only here, small in appearance but extremely agile, with plumage blending warm brown tones and streaks of blue like electricity running on its wings. They prefer scurrying on the ground to flying, looking both comical and mysterious. When sunset falls, the caracal lynx steps out from the night, moving as gracefully as a shadow. Its triangular ears are held high, the black tufts at the tips extending into soft hooks that quiver with every warm breeze. With just one cold, sharp gaze, it transforms into the silent assassin of the desert. Everything here makes it hard to believe that such strange, surrealistically beautiful creatures still exist in a hidden corner of the world named Iran. Number 8. The secret ski paradise in Iran that breaks every desert stereotype. If I told you to bring your skis when traveling to Iran, you would probably laugh. But this is a shocking truth to many people. Iran is actually a skiing paradise. Despite being famous as an arid Middle Eastern nation, Iran's terrain is actually a massive plateau surrounded by majestic mountain walls. The Alborz Range in the north and the Zagros Range stretching to the west create peaks covered in snow year-round. Not far from the capital Tehran are ski resorts like Cuisine and Shemshak, located at altitudes that even exceed many famous ski resorts in France or Switzerland. Long runs, thick powder snow, thin air, and the feeling of zooming down the slopes while looking out over the vast Iranian valleys below. That is an experience that very few people in the world have ever heard of, let alone tried. Here, you will see a completely different Iran, where young people and the middle and upper classes temporarily shed their modest religious attire, put on ski gear, sunglasses, and beanies, and laugh and talk loudly to music playing from mountain cafes. Right in the heart of a country labeled conservative and arid, there exists its own white snow Europe, where skis glide over fine snow that the world almost knows nothing about. Number 7. Persian carpets, intentional flaws from God worth millions of dollars. A Persian carpet is not just furniture, it is a work of art with an investment value higher than gold. A hand-woven silk carpet can take decades to complete, and when it is finished, it can be sold for millions of dollars. But the most curious thing is not the level of sophistication, but the flaw. If you look closely at the pattern, you will always find a slight discrepancy, such as a knot of the wrong color, a slightly crooked border, or a pattern that is not perfectly symmetrical. This is not due to poor craftsmanship, but is intentional. Artisans believe that only God is perfect. For humans to create something absolutely flawless is an act of arrogance. Therefore, they always leave a Persian flaw as a humble reminder before the Almighty. That very flaw becomes the soul of the carpet. In cities like Yazd, where clay alleys, brick domes, and ancient wind towers rise into the sky, you can see Persian carpets spread in old houses, temples, and next to the fire temples of the Zoroastrian religion, where the sacred flame has burned for hundreds of years. Carpets, religion, and the philosophy of imperfection blend together, turning each Persian carpet into a theological story woven with silk threads. Number 6. A multi-religious, multi-ethnic country and unbelievable paradoxes regarding women. In Iran, beliefs are as multi-layered as their lives. The surface layer is Shia Islam, imprinted on the currency, clothing, culture, and the blue mosque domes rising high in the squares. But beneath that shell, ancient beliefs still smolder. In Yazd, the Zoroastrian fire in the fire temples still flickers, as if it has never gone out for hundreds of years. In Isfahan, the sound of Christian church bells rings out in the middle of a Muslim neighborhood. In the south, ancient synagogues, older than many long-standing mosques, still open their doors to worshippers. Qom is the theological capital of Shia, where scholars in white turbans pray. Meanwhile, the Kurdistan region is where Shia and Sunni mosques appear on the same horizon, and prayers are heard in various dialects. Interwoven in this picture is a brilliantly multi-ethnic Iran. Kurds, Azeris, Lurs, Baluchis, Turkmen, each community has its own fashion collection. From shimmering multi-layered flared skirts and colorful shawls to fur hats and hand-embroidered shirts covered in patterns. And at the center of all those contradictions are women. On the streets, black robes and mandatory hijabs hide their hair, but they do not hide the sharp eyes of girls who have just stepped out of the library, their arms full of engineering, medical, and technology books. For many families, giving their daughters a thorough education is almost a sacred duty, even though in the outside world, their career doors are still limited. Iran is like that, both conservative and progressive, both strict and explosive, a labyrinth of paradoxes that the deeper you go, the harder it is to look away. Number 5. Kandovan, a living variation of volcanic rock. Located deep in a valley in East Azerbaijan province, Kandovan is one of the rare troglodyte villages in the world where people still maintain life inside cone-shaped rock cliffs. These houses were carved directly into layers of volcanic ash solidified from eruptions of Mount Sahand millions of years ago. The multi-story architecture of Kandavan allows residents to intelligently allocate space, with the ground floor used as stables and the upper floors serving as family living spaces and storage, creating a closed and sustainable ecosystem in the heart of the grey stone. The true appeal of Kandavan lies in the excellent natural temperature regulation of the volcanic rock material, keeping the interior cool in the scorching summer and warm when snow covers the ground in winter. Although it looks like an ancient ruin from the outside, the interiors of these stone houses are now fully equipped with modern infrastructure, from the electrical grid and clean water to Wi-Fi signals penetrating stone walls feet thick. Today's locals live off agriculture, harvesting wild honey and herbs characteristic of the highlands to supply the tourism market. Unlike the stillness of Cappadocia in Turkey, which has largely become museums or hotels, Kandavan still pulses with the breath of a true, living village with the pure daily habits of the indigenous people. Here, 21st century technology operates smoothly within stone structures hundreds of years old, creating a fascinating contrast between history and the present. Every corner of the village is not just a sightseeing spot, but also a testament to the resilient, adaptive intelligence of humans in the face of nature's harshness. Number 4. Persepolis, the proud symbol of the Persian Empire. Persepolis was once the most brilliant ceremonial capital of the Achaemenid Empire, an ancient superpower that once controlled up to 44% of the global population under great kings such as Darius and Xerxes. This architectural complex was built on a massive terrace with iconic structures like the Gate of All Nations or large throne halls supported by towering stone columns. Exquisite bas-reliefs depicting tribute delegations from all over, from Egypt and India to Greece, are still clearly visible, testifying to the absolute dominance of Persia on the world map at that time. The fall of Persepolis is linked to Alexander the Great's expedition in 330 BC, when he ordered the entire capital to be burned. There are many theories surrounding this event, from an act of political revenge for the Persians having once burned Athens to an impulsive decision during a drunken feast by the young king. However, even though it remains only as grey stone ruins under the sun, Persepolis still retains an otherworldly majesty, reminding the world of a civilization that set the first standards for national governance and human architectural art. For modern Iranians, these ruins are not just a tourist attraction, but a source of deep national pride. They see themselves as descendants of a great empire that is temporarily facing economic difficulties, not a poor nation lacking cultural roots. Understanding the reverence Iranians have for Persepolis is the key to decoding why this country always maintains a firm and proud stance on the international political stage, refusing any imposition from Western powers. Number 3. Saffron and Iranian cuisine, the flavor of memory. Iran is the absolute dominant force in the global saffron market, providing over 90% of the world's saffron crocus stigmas. This most expensive spice on the planet is considered the soul of Persian cuisine, appearing in almost every dish from rice, soups, and teas to luxurious ice cream desserts. Saffron not only brings a brilliant amber gold color to dishes, but also creates a unique, seductive aroma, becoming the unmistakable signature of this Middle Eastern culinary culture. The philosophy of Iranian cooking does not stop at providing calories. It is a delicate combination of family memories and traditional medical rules. Every meal is a strict balancing act between sour and sweet, fat and herbal, and warm and cold properties to ensure the health of the diner. They prioritize using natural spices such as dried lime, pomegranate, and fresh herbs to create deep layers of flavor, carrying the breath of the land and the highland winds. The national banquet table of Iranians cannot be without charcoal-grilled kebab kubide, served with fragrant, fluffy saffron rice and grilled tomatoes. Beside it, the gourmet sabzi stew, with its characteristic deep green color from herbs blended with lamb and dried lime, creates a slightly bitter but incredibly enticing flavor. For festivals and weddings, the Zeresh polo dish, with its combination of saffron rice and tart barberries, is always the center of attention, showcasing the extreme sophistication and hospitality of the people of this land. Number 2. Isfahan, an architectural marvel and the Persian golden ratio. Isfahan has long been praised by Easterners with the proverb, "Isfahan is half the world," affirming an architectural beauty and urban planning that far exceeds all ordinary standards. The heart of the city is Nakshi Jahan Square, one of the largest public squares in the world, designed with perfect golden ratios and a tight layout. Surrounding this space are masterpieces such as the Shah Mosque or Sheikh Lotfola Mosque, where domes covered in magical blue tiles create light effects and echoes that reach a theological level. Beyond the mosques, Isfahan is also famous for its system of historical bridges spanning the Zayandeh River, most notably the Persepolis Bridge with its 33 majestic granite arches. This is not just a transportation structure, but also the most vibrant community space in the city, where people gather under the bridge arches to sing and chat every night. The shimmering yellow lights reflecting on the river, along with the echoes of folk songs, create a uniquely romantic atmosphere that no other city possesses. The cultural experience in Isfahan is also complemented by local specialty dishes like biryani, minced spiced lamb, grilled on a flat pan and served with traditional flatbread. The combination of sophisticated urban planning, magnificent tiled walls, and the peaceful life by the river has made Isfahan the cultural heart of Iran. From an overarching fly-cam view to everyday moments at the foot of the bridge, this city is the most vivid evidence of the golden age of Persian architectural art. Number 1. Lake Urmia, the Red Sea and the pain of the earth. Lake Urmia, located in northwestern Iran between the cities of Tabriz and Urmia, once held the status of the largest saltwater lake in the Middle East and one of the largest salt lakes globally. However, the cruel combination of upstream hydroelectric dams, excessive agricultural irrigation, and climate change has pushed this inland sea into a state of severe depletion. As the water level drops and salinity rises to extreme levels, salt-loving algae and bacteria begin to flourish, turning the entire lake surface red like a large wound in the middle of a white salt desert. The disappearance of Lake Urmia is not only a landscape disaster, but also brings untold ecological and social consequences. Large areas of the lake's surface that were once full of water have now become cracked salt flats, where salt storms can sweep radioactive salt dust hundreds of miles away, destroying gardens and threatening the health of millions of surrounding residents. The destruction of the ecosystem here is creating a potential wave of migration as agriculture is no longer sustainable, turning once fertile lands into a desolate desert. Faced with this urgent situation, the Iranian government is making final efforts to revive Lake Urmia by releasing more water from hydroelectric dams and completely changing agricultural models to save water. However, The recovery process is extremely slow and full of challenges in the face of prolonged drought. The future of Lake Urmia remains a haunting question mark on Iran's ecological map, a costly lesson about trading natural resources for short-term infrastructure development. Today's journey through Iran comes to an end. Did anything about this ancient land, its vast deserts, towering mountains, and living traditions shaped over thousands of years surprise you? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe to support the channel, and make sure you don't miss our next adventures. And click the video in the corner of your screen to keep exploring more remarkable places and the stories hidden in plain sight. Goodbye, and see you in the next one.